Down, K. Down. We do go down, you better we down. Down, K. Down. The dawn of down, you better we down.
A very good evening to you. My name is Dennis Dion Nardone, and the name of the show is This Is Rock and Roll. And tonight we have a special guest in the house because we are going to speak about someone, the legendary disc jockey from CBS FM, who recently passed away, and we're going to do a tribute to the great Don K. Reed. Right now, I just want to say hello to Joe Malazzo from the Bronx in New York. Joe,
hey,
welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dennis.
And of course, we're going to talk about Don K. Reed, legendary disc jockey from CBS FM, and of course the doo-wop shop. And we're going to do a tribute to Don K. He was a friend to everyone. Everyone knew Don K. Just a tremendous disc jockey every Sunday night. If you were in the world of oldies or doo-wop, you tuned into Don K. Reed and his doo-wop shop. And he was there for like 28 years. And unfortunately, tender age of very young, of 77, 78 years old, Don K. passed away. And just a friend to everyone, especially the legendary music of doo-wop. And let's start off with you, Joe.
Okay.
From the Bronx, you got a background of singing doo-wop and oldies. In fact, right now you're still a member of the one of the best doo-wop oldie groups of the Bronx, the Bel Airs. And of course, now you evolved. You know Don very well, right?
Yes, I do. I go back with the first show that we did with Don K. Reed was back in '95 with the group the Destinaires.
Destinaires.
Which I'm an original member of them.
Now that was an a cappella group?
That was a strictly a cappella group,
Okay.
the Destinaires, and we did that circuit for many years, and then we later on turned it into Destiny with music, and we went back onto his show in 1996. And then when we started doing the up-tempo stuff with music, that was with 2002. And of course, each group, you know, we had three different members. It wasn't the Destinaires was an original group for like 15, 16 years, and then we changed one of the members. He left, and then we picked up Anthony Vara, who was part of the Destinaires also, Gino Marchetti, Emil Sachs. So these were all part of the Destinaires.
How long have you been with the Bel Airs of the Bronx?
I'm with them just about 15 years now.
Ah, the group's been together that long. Anyway, Don K. Reed, you know, you mentioned all these groups. Besides the fact that, you know, he played music of the legendary groups who had the records and the music out there, but he was a friend to the local guys like yourself.
He certainly was.
And the local groups, and he was not scared to feature a group from Long Island, a group from Westchester, a group from the Bronx, Staten Island. You know, the local guys that would just love music and sang on the corner, and who just had a demo record out there, and he loved bringing them on the show. What time was his doo-wop shop show?
I believe that started at
around 11 o'clock, right?
yeah,
Something to that
I
effect.
think it was 11 o'clock, right?
Yeah, and he was on for, as I mentioned, I think 28 years.
Amazing.
And Don K., like I said, a friend to everyone, and just a gentleman. He was a student, what I experienced. He was a student of doo-wop. I mean, he didn't just listen. He loved a cappella. He loved the voices. He loved the blending. He loved the harmonization. And he loved the history of doo-wop. He loved where you came from, what label you were on, what year it came from, who sang lead. And he was just an encyclopedia.
He was amazing.
Doo-wop and, of course, the oldies. And, you know, as time went on and after he retired at CBS when doo-wop went off the air and Don was around and he would MC a show, he would always feature and talk about, all you had to do is mention a name and he'll tell you, as I said, the whole history of that group, going back to Philadelphia, going back to Los Angeles. And he was just an interesting gentleman to speak to, and he always had time for everyone, no matter who you were. And of course, you know, you see, oh, there's Don K. Reed. You start talking to him, and he became your friend. And you
Yes.
say, wow, I just listened to him on the radio, and now he's just a normal guy like me.
Very easy
know?
to talk to. Yes, he was.
Yeah. He would come on my radio show, and he loved coming up. And I would say, Don, I don't want to bother you. He would call me up. He said, oh, no, I love coming up to Westchester and sitting here and talking to music and listening to songs. And again, just an encyclopedia of the music. And he was just, and that's what I liked about him because, and I learned that myself. He featured, you know, the local guy, and that's what I learned from him. And just a terrific guy. And so, what was your first thoughts when you met Don? When you went into that studio?
He took control when we walked in there. He made you feel like you said. He made you feel like you were important, even
Right.
though we were just kids from the street, you know, in the corner. When you got into his studio, you were his friend. You were like his family.
Yeah.
And he was really a great guy.
Yeah. And he was telling me the story on my radio show, how it all started for him. And he was listening to the radio, and he sent in a little tape. He always wanted to be on the radio. He sent the tape in, and they called him down for an interview because he had that beautiful, deep voice. And one thing led to another. And before you knew it, he was on the radio, and he always said to me, you know, it's fun, and the best part about it, you really get paid for something you really like, and there's not many jobs out there that you really enjoy to get paid for. But he loved it. He loved the people, loved the music, and it's really sad to lose Don K. You know, and we've lost in the world of doo-wop and oldies for the last few years a lot of performers, Dominic Safuto, and on and on and on, and from the Randy and the Rainbows. But I tell you, this one really affects me. And the other one that affected me was Johnny Maestro.
Yeah.
I'm not saying none of them affected me, but you know, but these are two icons. You know, Johnny Maestro and Don K. And, you know, we just lost Pepe a year or so from Live and Kicking. And it's you know, life goes on, and you feel bad, but Don K., this one affects a lot of people.
It certainly does.
A lot of, because he touched a lot of hearts of everyone, and he just loved that doo-wop. And as I said, he brought on a lot of groups. So you remember any groups that he brought on?
Yeah.
I think every a cappella or oldies groups or doo-wop group from Long Island was on his show at one time or another.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, yesterday's news with Vic Spina, he was part of that group along with Tony Del Vecchio. He was the lead singer for that group, and after Vic left, that's when I joined yesterday's news also, and I know that they were on that show.
Yesterday News a cappella group.
It's an a cappella group.
From the
yes.
Bronx?
From the Bronx, yes.
Okay.
Also, the Janelles
Okay.
was also another local group that was on his show. The Earls, the Duprees, the Classics, most of them are all local groups.
Yeah.
And they were on his shows also.
Yeah. As I mentioned.
And everyone did jingles for him. That was very nice.
Yeah, beautiful jingles.
Yeah.
He admired that. The groups did a jingle for him.
Right.
And that's another thing I kind of follow for him on my radio show. In fact, your group, the Bel Airs, does an opening
Right.
for me every Sunday morning. And very good jingle or promo, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, Don K, just a tremendous, warm-hearted person, and lovely wife, and he's just going to be missed. And you know, I don't know how you don't replace people like that.
No.
You know, and he's just when they have all the oldie shows out in Westbury, you know, he'd always make an appearance. And one thing about Don K. Reed in his retirement since CBS FM, no matter who you were, you called him up and said, Don, I'm having a fundraiser for so-and-so. If you're available, can you make an appearance? And he went out of his way, and he would make an appearance, and you know, even help MC or just come and talk a little music, because as I said, he's a student and knows the history and encyclopedia. So when he got in front of people, you know, you listened, especially if you loved that doo-wop and oldies. but he was always there for people, no matter who it was.
He was an icon. You're
Yeah,
absolutely right.
He was always there to assist in any way you had a fundraiser, because he just loved it, and he loved the people, loved the music, and just an amazing man who we're going to miss, Don K. Reed. And again, from CBS FM for so many years, on Sunday nights, you were an institution to turn on, and a lot of people lying in bed,
Yeah.
listening to Don K. Reed, and going to sleep, getting ready for work. We were still working at the time.
That's right.
Most of us are retired now, and you lie in bed, and you listen to Don K. Reed, and you listen to whatever group he was interviewing, and listen to their music, and you could hear the local groups like yourself at the time, so full of energy and excitement to be on a Don K. Reed Sunday night, all through the tri-state area, and the excitement, and he just made everybody feel so good. And again, he made so many people happy in what he did, and to the forefront of the local groups. And he's just going to be missed, and losing Don K. Reed, just heartwarming, feel bad for a guy like that who was just an institution in the world at doo-wop, CBS FM. And I remember when he called me up and he said, Dennis, no more doo-wop shop. I said, what? What are you talking about? Yeah, they're changing the whole format and changing everything on CBS FM. They feel they have to go to some different type of music, a little different era. So we're losing the doo-wop, and doo-wop shop is done. I said, just like that, the whole format. And that's the business of radio and TV. Things change like that. And you could be in Chicago one day working, the next day, hopefully you got a job, you could be in Delaware or something. But that's another story. But as you said, the doo-wop shop is done, 28 years. He said it was a great run. And I said, well, maybe something will change, maybe the people will come out, but it was done. And but legendary Don K, like I said, he was at every show, or either out in Westbury or out in Long Island. He was there. And again, if you had a little church fundraiser and you asked him to be there, Don K would be there no matter where it was. Yeah. Did you meet up with Don a lot when
recently? I just actually, you mentioned Pepe at his fundraiser. I know Don K. Reed was there with Kojak, and
Ken Kojak. That's his big name.
And I went over. I spoke to them, and they remembered me, and it was.
Yeah.
He sounded great. He looked great. So it was like kind of a shock to hear this all of a sudden.
Yeah,
It was like
Ken Kojak was very close with Don K, personal friends, and did a lot of work together, a lot of fundraising. I think we have a video. We're going to go to our first video. And this is with the group from the Bronx, with our producer, Vic Sabatini, with the group called Mixed Nuts. And when they were guests of Don K. Reed on CBS FM. So let's go to the video with Mixed Nuts from the Bronx, New York, Vic Sabatini and the guys, and watch this video. All right, we are back. My name is Dennis Dion Nardone. The name of the show of This is Rock and Roll. We like to feature the world of the performers, of course, of rock and roll. And we go back to doo-wop and rock and roll, classic rock, all kind of music. My guest today is Mr. Joe Malazzo from the Bronx, New York, currently a member of a group called the Bel Airs from the Bronx, one of the best doo-wop oldie groups in the area. And as Joe mentioned, together for about 15 years or so right now. And of course, Joe, as we mentioned in the first half there, he sang with many other groups going up into the doo-wop world. But today's show is a tribute to Mr. Don K. Reed, who passed away recently. And Don, just an icon of a legendary disc jockey in the world of New York City and tri-state area. And as we mentioned, the doo-wop shop that everyone knows about every Sunday night. It's been retired now for a good 6-7 years. But for 28 years, we all went to bed listening to Don K. Reed, doo-wop shop. And of course, as we mentioned earlier, Don would always present and interview the local groups, as well as the big times like the Earls, as you mentioned, or the Randy and the Rainbows, or whoever had a major hit. So, Joe, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Again, a tribute to Don K. Reed and all the good things. He's going to be missed, that's for sure. And it's just not going to be the same when you go out to Westbury, because they would always bring him out. He'd always introduce a group, or wherever the group, or the show would be. And like I said, before he got sick, and before the pandemic, he was coming on my show, and you know, just sitting there enjoying it, and interviewing Don, and I would play the song, and again, as an encyclopedia of music, he would tell me where, when, the label, who recorded, who was the lead singer, who sang background, and it's just amazing things. It was just interesting to have him a part of the show. And once again, tell me a little more about Don K., your feelings about Don.
Like I said, he was just a perfect gentleman whenever we saw him.
Yeah.
When we went up to his doo-wop shop, he said, "You guys chill out, have a good time. You know, we want to have a nice interview, sing a couple of songs." And that's what it was
Tell me about
with
your
him.
first time. You go up to CBS FM, you're listening to it on the radio all the time. Now here you are walking to the studio, big sign CBS FM. You had to be a little nervous.
I was impressed. I was impressed.
And,
Yeah.
they showed you the ropes, and here's what's going to happen, this and that. Now you sit down. Were you in the same studio with Don, or
Yeah, oh
how
yeah.
did it work?
He was. You first walk in, he's got this lobby with all gold records hanging up,
yeah.
pictures all over the place, CBS 101 signs, and then he had his studio similar to this, where he interviewed the group to sing, and that's how it was. It was
Yeah.
nice, real nice.
And of course, back then it was records. It
Yeah.
wasn't all computerized. And so now, did you bring a record?
No,
or
most of the times we did live.
You sang
sang
live. That's
live,
right.
yeah.
sang live in the studio.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. And okay, so you sang live, and a cappella.
A cappella.
A cappella. Yeah, and as I mentioned, Don, he loved the a cappella sound.
Yes, he did.
He loved the pure harmonization, and he would always explain that to me. And I remember Don K. Reed, he would say to me, he says, you know, if you get the perfect sound, the harmonization from a cappella group, you could actually hear, and I thought he was nuts when he said this, strings and horns.
Yeah, it's like a
in the
ringing
background.
sound. Yeah, it's like ringing.
And, you know, and as I learned from that, and I would listen to, you know, a cappella groups that, you know, like Classic Sounds or someone, you know, you could hear that pure sound.
Yes.
And you really appreciate what it's all about. And he brought that out to me, you know, because, again, you hear music, you hear people singing, you don't really take the whole focus.
That's great.
Until someone like Don K., who's a student of the music, explained that.
Right.
You know, you get those disc jockeys that are out there, all different stations. They like to mumble jumble a lot of talk, and all due respect, you know. And but they don't really explain. And Don would always explain that what the music and the vocal sound was all about.
Yeah.
And again, he appreciated all that type of music. So again, with a tribute to Don K. Reed, legendary disc jockey from CBS FM so many years, and of course, hearing the doo-wop shop every night on Sunday nights was just part of your life for all those years.
It was certainly was.
You know, I wasn't 10 years old, I was older, and just learning about doo-wop, because I myself, to be honest, grew up with Beatles and Rolling Stones. And as I be honest with you, when I was working, we had some friends that really were into a cappella groups. And I really wasn't understanding. And we would put on Don K. Reed when, because I worked late sometimes. And then I followed that, driving home or when I was off. I said, let me put this on. And again, you heard those local groups. You didn't hear the Earls. You heard so-and-so from Long Island. You heard so-and-so from, like we just seen, Mixed Nuts, from the Bronx. You didn't know anybody, but you knew they were just local people. And you would enjoy what he was bringing out to the New York area. And so once again, he's an icon. It's going to be missed. And I hope in the future something is, we don't forget him. Somehow he's going to be remembered. And I know in the world of what's left of us people that like the oldies and doo-wop, and even on my Sunday show, going to mention I have his voice. I'll be running his promo. And so no way we forget people like Don K. Reed and some of the icons of the music. And Alive and Kickin', Pepe was a good friend of Don K. And I think I showed a picture. I don't know if it's been shown yet, in the studio of the WVOX where I am. And we got a picture. Ray Dariano, who was a DJ on AM back in the 80s, and Pepe. And we had a great show that day, and memorable, that's for sure. So it's going to be missed.
He sure is. I'm sure Don K. Reed is looking down at all of us, and he knows people like yourself will carry his name.
Well, I hope so. And I think we've got another video coming up that we're going to play in a few minutes. And that might be you too, right? That might be you that's coming up. So we're going to look forward to that. And you know, on his passing, everybody was putting out nice words on the internet, social media, and just about everyone who was in the business, everyone that sang was putting out their pictures with Don K. Reed. And it goes to show you how many people he's touched and how many people he was involved with his doo-wop shop show. And you know, people just love to take a picture with him. And I think more than all the other disc jockeys that were on CBS, because he had this show where you came on and you were part of his show. He interviewed you. He gave you the format, the forum of, hey, put your voice out there, put your group out there. Here it is. I'm giving you that opportunity. More than any other disc jockeys on CBS.
Yes. And
because they just played the songs, they talked, the news, the weather, all that other kind of stuff. But Don, here it is, folks. You know, this is your presentation. So, you know, and that's where he's well liked, and that's where everyone took a picture. Like, I think we have a picture here, right? What is this one? We show this one?
That one was with Vic, I believe. That's
Who's that?
Mixed Nuts.
Mixed Nuts. So,
Just Nuts.
but the and this, yeah. So you know, everybody had a picture.
Yeah.
And there were hundreds and hundreds of pictures out there on social media of everyone that wanted to share their thoughts, their love for Don K. Reed, and it was just amazing the outpouring love and thoughts and experience you had with Don K. Reed. And I remember I was out in Long Island, and when I was doing my little DJ job, and make a long story short, the Bronx Wanderers were supposed to do a Halloween party, and they got called to go somewhere or whatever. They had an opportunity. So Vinny says, hey, can you DJ and do this party? Okay, so we did the party, but promo after the Halloween party, they had the little cards on the table. And the night before, Don Cade went to eat there, and he saw my little promo that was on the table. And then he came out that next day. I don't even know where town I was in because it was so rush. And there he was. He came out to say hello. He said, yeah, saw your name there, so come out. And he hung out all night with us. And just made it a great experience, a lot of fun. And but again, that's the kind of guy he was. He shared himself with the local guy.
Yeah.
Just a
And you know, when you were going on the Don K. Reed show, it was like something special for all these groups because you knew
Yes.
you had something special
Yes.
to get on his show, and that's the kind of a person he was.
Yes.
He was just a great guy.
Yes, just a good man, and not more than I can say than the fact that he's going to be missed, and another huge loss in this world of oldies and doo-wop. I don't know much to say. This fact that just a tremendous person that made such an impact in the world of doo-wop and oldies, and he was an institution when it comes to the doo-wop and the oldies, and again, he's just going to be missed. And you wonder what happens now because we keep losing people in this world. But as I always said, as long as I'm playing music, I am going to always remember these people with their music, and I'm always going to remember Don K. Reed with his promos and talk about him. That's for sure. So anyway, again, he featured all the major groups. And to me, everybody always talks about Cousin Brucey and everyone else, but Don K. was right up there. So with that, Joe, we're going to go out with your video.
Okay.
And this is what group?
This is the Destinaires.
Destinaires. All right, as we go out, I want to say thank you to the Bronxnet crew, Vic Sabatini from the Just Nuts Band, and our producer. And hey, don't forget my radio shows. I'm on every morning, 1460 a.m. Every morning, Monday through Fridays, talk radio. Saturday, I play the oldies. Sundays, I play the oldies. And please join me, 1460 a.m. And you can hear it around the world on WVOX.com. Alexa helps us out as well. So, Joe Malazzo, thank you for a guest.
He's got a good show. He's got a good show.
Thank you to our tribute to the great Don K. Reed, legendary DJ in the New York area, and we're going to miss him. But thank you for a few minutes, Joe. So as we go out, I want to say God bless you. God bless the United States. God bless our troops. Be well, be safe. And Joe, help me out here. This is rock and roll. Ready? This is rock and roll. Thank you. Good night.
I see those moves you're making. I'm here to let you know, baby, cause I'm the one. So my name is Vic and I'm really slick, and I pose my realists and I do them really quick when I'm on the job, putting on the show, cause I'm looking bold out like another Rambo.